Hi everyone, this is Dr. Nitin Chhoda with Ignition Time, and in this video I'll give you the latest status of the negotiations between the Democrats and between the administration. Speaking of the administration, President Trump sent out 89 tweets and retweets between midnight last night and about 8:04 a.m. East Coast time this morning. I just thought that was incredible and worth reporting. Now, there have been a lot of there's been an escalation in the situation between the Democrats and the administration in the past 24 hours. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi is not very happy because they have been informed, the Democrats were informed, that there are going to be no more in-person election security briefings. And so what House Speaker Nancy Pelosi tweeted was as follows: the Office of the Director of National Intelligence decision to cancel all election security briefings for Congress is a shocking abdication of its responsibility to keep Congress informed. So, and in a written statement, she said, "We expect the administration and intelligence community to keep us fully and accurately informed and resume the briefings. If they are unwilling to do so, we will consider the full range of tools available to the House to compel compliance." So this is an escalation. By the way, guys, the sun is hitting one side of my face, so I'm sorry about that. But this is where things stand right now. Now, as if this wasn't enough, the White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows, pretty much came out and said some things about Speaker Nancy Pelosi that are going to essentially, they're not going to bring the two sides any closer. Let's just put it that way. So here's what White House Chief of Staff said. He said, House Speaker Pelosi would rather have nothing than $1.3 trillion offered by the administration. And keep in mind that the president, the administration and the Republicans started out at $1 trillion. The Democrats started out at $3.4 trillion with the HEROES Act that was passed by the House in May. Then they came down to $2.4 trillion. And most recently, Speaker Pelosi has said she's willing to go to $2.2 trillion. And the administration did announce in the past couple of days that they would go from $1 trillion to $1.3 trillion. In fact, Mark Meadows said that the president would be willing to sign a bill at $1.3 trillion. So this is what Mark Meadows just said. And he was speaking with NBC's Meet the Press, and he said, I quote, "We brought up the number. I had a conversation with Speaker Pelosi, and even on her $2.2 trillion counteroffer, she cannot tell the American people nor me what is in that." So basically what White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows is saying is that the Speaker is asking for too much money and is not being clear about where this money is being allocated. And he did use a phrase like money grab in previous interviews. So, this is I don't see any signs of a consensus anytime soon. And he continued and he went on to say, she puts forth a number, suggests that she came down, and yet she's willing to turn down $1.3 trillion of help that goes to the American people because she would rather them have nothing than to give way on what her fantasy might be. Now, these are the words of the White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows. Now, just to be clear, on my channel, I've done other videos where I've explained Speaker Pelosi's position. You're free to decide what you want. For me, it's not about the red or the blue. I'm trying to report facts from both sides. For me, I'm not Democrat or not Republican. I'm American. So in fact, I want to know from you, from my speakers, in the comment section below. Do you agree with Speaker Pelosi's position, or are you more in consensus with White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows? What do you feel about this situation? Because keep in mind, without another stimulus package, without another consensus, which right now stands at $1.3 trillion from the Republicans and $2.2 trillion from the Democrats, who are not willing to budge, by the way. That's what Speaker Pelosi said in the past 24 hours. Without a consensus, there's going to be no federal unemployment benefit extension. There's going to be no second stimulus check. There's going to be no aid to state and local governments. And states are running out of money as we are recording this. And a lot of states are starting to make cuts in their budgets, and in turn cuts to services that we have come to know and expect from states. And then there's going to be no more aid to hospitals, no more assistance, no more money for testing. There's no more extension of the eviction moratorium, which has expired at the time that we are recording this. So let me know what you think in the comments section below. I want to know what my community thinks about the current gridlock. Do you feel that House Speaker Pelosi should maybe budge? Do you think the administration should go up? How can we reach a point where there can be a consensus? Again, for us, it doesn't matter who takes the credit. What matters is there needs to be a consensus, because otherwise millions of my fellow Americans will continue to suffer and the economy will take a hit. Because I do believe that without this extra support, all the numbers that seem to be steady in the month of August. Because there's no additional federal aid in August, we will start to see some declining numbers in September, October, November. Unless, of course, something dramatic happens and the economy just reopens quickly overnight, which is not going to happen. I believe this is a K-shaped recovery. Certain industries are recovering, whereas those who need help the most are in many ways getting left behind. That is actually what is happening right now. So the 1.3 trillion package would also include funding for schools, childcare and hospitals. This is what Mark Meadows said. At levels Speaker Pelosi would agree with. That's what Meadows said. At levels Speaker Pelosi would agree with. And keep in mind that the White House has gone up from 1 trillion to 1.3 trillion. Some Republicans have talked about a skinny bill, and then they use the phrase targeted bill. Both those bills, I believe, are a complete waste of time. So I don't even discuss them a lot on my channel, because at the end of the day, this is going to be Speaker Pelosi coming to a consensus with the two White House lead negotiators, Mark Meadows and US Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin, and then them coming to a consensus, getting the president on board. And by the way, if this happens, the other things will fall into place, because Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell has said that whatever the administration agrees with, whatever the administration decides with Speaker Pelosi, meaning the House, the Senate Majority Leader would support, which in turn means that Republicans in the Senate would support. So really, the fate of millions of individuals, the fate of states across the country is essentially resting on negotiation, a failed negotiation at this point, because they're not talking. If they talk, I'll get in touch with you. I'll let you know. There were some talks about Steven Mnuchin trying to do some things, but honestly, nothing matters unless House Speaker Nancy Pelosi decides that yes, I'm going to accept what they have to offer, or they go up a bit further. Again, both sides are starting to budge, which is important, but they need to get closer to one another. And as time goes by, the political necessity of a consensus is going to become stronger. In any negotiation, the side that blinks first, or the side that's willing to budge, generally gives up some power. And now we're starting to see both sides start to budge. So that's what's happening right now. And just let's be clear, House Speaker Pelosi has blamed the stalled negotiations on President Trump. On a recent appearance of CNN State of the Union, she said, I quote, "More than 4 million have been added to the infection list because we paused," she said. And she said over 80,000 more people have died because they paused. Trump fiddles while Rome burns, while America burns. I quote House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. That's where things stand right now, everybody. Again, I want to know from you in the description section, in the comment section below, what you think about the current state of affairs. Do you believe that House Speaker Nancy Pelosi should stand firm, or do you believe she should budge? Do you believe the administration should essentially up their offer from $1.3 trillion, or do you feel that they should stay where they are? Because one thing's very clear: if the administration stays where they are, and if Speaker Pelosi stays where she is, we're not going to get anything happening. Something has to give, and the two sides have to come closer together. Now keep in mind, the two sides are slowly inching closer together. And by the way, any other discussion of a skinny bill, a targeted bill, again, is a waste of time, because the speaker is going to, not going to support it at all. And this does need support from both sides. At this point in time, politically, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell is out of the equation, because he has said that he's going to support whatever the administration decides. The ball is in the House Speaker's court and the President's court. And this is becoming an economic problem, which is starting to become a political necessity. And it is definitely putting pressure on both sides, because we have Republicans trying to create a skinny bill because they feel pressured. We have Democrats who are starting to get agitated and who went to Speaker Pelosi and said, hey, we need to do something. And she essentially said to them, nope, we're not doing anything. We're going to wait. So you have strong positions on either side. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. If there's any important news that's worth reporting, I'll definitely report it to you. Please don't get persuaded by innuendo on other channels or on other news outlets. Please don't get persuaded by false signs of hope. On this channel, you get the truth. and you get an objective opinion about where things stand, and that's why we've been growing so fast as a channel, so fast as a community. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. I really appreciate you. My name is Dr. Nitin Chhoda. If you don't know anything about me, please check out my introductory video on our YouTube channel. I have the privilege, the honor, the fortune of living the American dream. I am a beneficiary of the generosity of this amazing country, the greatest country in the world, America. We release videos at 2 p.m. East Coast time most days of the week, so make sure you're subscribed to our channel. Also, if you want to get added to our alerts list, get your cell phone out, send a text message with the word ignition or with the word time to 70,000, that's 70000, and you'll get added to our SMS list. You'll get added to our email list if you want. Go to ignitiontime.com/alerts and you'll get added to our email list. You can opt out of the SMS list or email list at any time. Once again, my name is Dr. Nitin Chhoda. Please click like, please click subscribe, please enable notifications so you get instant updates going forward, and we'll be sure to keep you notified. Sometimes YouTube doesn't notify you, so you may want to bookmark youtube.com/ignition time and check in on the channel maybe once or twice a day if you can, and then you'll be able to see the latest videos that we release on the channel that way. Once again, thank you so much. My name is Dr. Nitin Chhoda. Please click like, please click subscribe, please enable notifications, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next video at Ignition Time. Thank you. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.